Risk Committee, the annual report on the performance of the Audit and Risk Committee. We have Bruce Robertson online, who's the chair of the Audit and Risk Committee. We've got some problems so that Sandra with an R can see Bruce, but nobody else can. I can see him, it's probably just as well you can't. But we can hear you, I believe. Can we hear Bruce? Say something, Bruce.
It's Bruce here. Can you folks hear me okay?
Now try. Have another hello, Bruce.
G'day. How's that? What's that? What's
Yeah,
I turn my
we've got
camera
you
off?
now.
You've got to go to here. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate it being here.
Okay, off you go, Bruce.
Right, look, thank you, Wayne, and to the governing body for a chance to be able to address the governing body, particularly over the performance of the committee for the year. It is a privilege to serve you and the community, and it's also good practice for a committee to undergo a self-review, which we have done every year, and we have reported to you. Reason particularly that I'm personalising our report today is that it's actually at a point of significant change where in effect there is a change, a generational change going on with me retiring in effect on the end of this month, and indeed a new generation, if I can say that, of independent members joining the committee. And I just want to recognise that you have appointed, and I think some very good selections, Paul Connell, who will succeed me as chair of the committee, Cassandra Crowley and Martin Matthews. They bring great experience which will benefit the committee, but for ways which I mentioned towards the end of my comments, I hope they also usher in a new perspective and a new approach to the work of the committee. I also recognise that we've had change in membership, Lottie becoming my deputy, and obviously some new members through the impacts of last October's elections. It's critical that we maintain a planned program, and we've followed that, and my paper largely sets out the key aspects of that program and what we did during the year. An important focus for us is indeed the risk profile that Auckland Council faces. And I think it's important to recognise that the risk profile of Auckland has, and my word is tightened, it's got riskier over the course of the last year. And consequently, our attention to our risk profile is all the more important if we are going to achieve those things, our objectives that we want to achieve for our community. So I am keen in bringing this report to you on essentially what we did to invite the governing body for a greater connection with the committee, and especially around two matters. What do you see as our big risks? What are they? What keeps you awake at night? And secondly, in helping us define what is that risk profile that the council is running, what's your tolerance for acceptable risk? How hard are you prepared to chase after your objectives? And what risk are you prepared to take on or tolerate? This is the area that in my handover in the last couple of weeks with Paul as your incoming chair, I've focused on. And I'd like to suggest that once you've set your LTP, once you've set what are your objectives for the coming 3 years, that you meet with Paul and the committee to discuss what are the real risks that you face as a council and what are the risks that you're prepared to tolerate. I think that would also help with a greater understanding of what the risk committee does, rather than potentially assuming what they do, and how that can help you in your governance council's affairs in achieving the things you want to achieve. So Wayne, that's probably the key message I bring: greater connection, greater involvement by all the governing body in risk setting and setting of tolerances, and a greater connection with the committee. So look, I'll leave it at that. Again, thank you for the privilege of serving with you folk, and I'm open to questions on my report.
Okay, thank you for that. The main thing there for those who weren't paying attention is that when the head of the Audit and Risk Committee is suggesting that Auckland Council's risk profile has heightened, we need to be aware of it and encouraging us to be more closely involved. And I don't think anyone would not realise it's heightened, especially having sat through the last hour of presentations. Councillor Foley, who is the Deputy Chair, I'd like to hear from you next.
Kia ora, thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Bruce. I don't have any questions, but I did just want to commend Bruce and thank Bruce for his leadership as our chair. I've always appreciated his calm and respectful manner, and he was always very inclusive of everybody, officers, elected members and independent members alike. And I really admire also that this term, Bruce was always willing as well to include some tikanga and some te reo into our protocols as well. So I wish you well, Bruce, and thank you so much for everything that you've done for us as a council, but also for Aucklanders. Kia ora.
I think te ao toko that. Are there any questions? I think the big question is what Bruce has asked us, is to take care with our heightened level of risk. We do have a new chair appointed, Mr. Phil Connell, I believe. Paul Connell, who, and I'm inviting you all to come to the next one and take a bit of interest. We do have a heightened risk profile. Everyone who's involved in LTP is more than aware of that. All right, Bruce, thank you very much. I don't appear to have any further questions. Obviously, you've done such a good job. It was as clear as anything. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you, Wayne. And all the best of the day, and indeed to progress into the LTP process, Wayne. It's been great to work with all you folk. Thank you. Catch you later.
Thank you. I didn't actually move and second the receipt of that report, but...
I was indicating that I would be happy to second to Councillor Foley.
Yeah, I'll take Lotta Foley and Councillor Fletcher as first and second on that one. All those in favour of receiving it, please say aye. Yeah, contrary. Righto. We're going to move to item 9.